Cheadle High School in Manchester places a great importance on the pupil voice.
Now the learning objective is to understand the conventions of music videos. I wouldn't expect you, I'd be really impressed if you do know what that means. Can anybody guess or does anybody know what conventions means at all?
40 of the students here from a wide range of backgrounds take part in a pupil voice scheme, evaluating lessons from trainee teachers in the school and offering feedback and suggestions for different ways of doing things.
Well, the key word at the start I thought was quite a good way to start the lesson, because it gets them to know what the lesson's mainly about.
You constantly kept stating what the lesson objective was all the way through the different activities.
Yeah, when you told them why you were going to compare those to particular music videos at the start.
Right at the beginning.
Yeah,
so they know.
So it was like, right, okay, we're going to compare this with this because...
Right, okay.
I thought it'd give me more of an insight into what teachers do. I thought it'd help me see how they plan lessons and how hard it is to be a teacher, really.
Pupils have a say in it. They can tell teachers, well, I'm not learning this way, can we try it a different way just for once and see how that goes?
It's not just like a teacher going into a room and telling students a bunch of information, it's much more than that.
We have one or two gifted and talented, we have some special needs, we have some with specific disabilities. All our pupils have total freedom to tell the truth as they see it, to air their points of view, but be tactful. And everything is geared to being helpful, encouraging and working together. So otherwise it's not pupil voice, it's teacher voice.
The students are about to travel to Manchester Metropolitan University to spend the day with some PGCE students. In this programme, we'll see trainee teachers deliver a lesson.
We're going to do a lesson today on Egyptian deserts. So, my first question is, where was Egypt?
We'll see the students evaluate and discuss that lesson.
How well do you think you did overall in the lesson?
I think it went quite well, mainly from the sort of responses that we got from you lot.
And the tables turn when the students become the educators and show the teachers how they think it should be done.
This afternoon you will be required to teach a 10-minute lesson, okay? You can do it on anything you want in geography at all, just for 10 minutes.
So what we're going to do is, we're going to design your own animal so it's fit to live in Antarctica.
It's 9 a.m. on a rainy day at Manchester Metropolitan University, and the team from Cheadle High School is just arriving. This is the first time the students and trainee teachers have met, and the university lays on breakfast, giving them a chance to get to know each other. The students are split into 4 groups. We'll be following this group and their trainees Liz and Lauren throughout the day.
Hi, I'm Sabrina.
I'm Paul.
Hi, I'm George.
I'm Chris.
I'm Mike.
Once the ice has been broken and the muffins have been eaten, it's upstairs into the classrooms. Each group has been assigned 2 trainee teachers who'll jointly teach one 20-minute mini lesson. Liz and Lauren will be teaching geography.
Decided to do a lesson on Egyptian deserts, so we're going to do quite short activities and then we'll have a quick plenary at the end. Feeling a little bit nervous but excited about the prospect of working with different age range of pupils on in a different situation as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
In this lesson I'm looking for the teacher to be encouraging and not expect you to do more than you can do.
A good lesson feels very, you feel very into it and you feel very absorbed into the lesson, and then you enjoy what you're doing and you can talk to other people about it as well and you can learn from them and you don't really have to ask the teacher too much.
So will Liz and her teaching partner Lauren be able to deliver? After watching the other trainee teachers deliver lessons in D&T, maths and history, it's time for them to introduce their subject to the students.
We're going to do a lesson today on Egyptian deserts. So, my first question is, where was Egypt? Yes, in Africa. Excellent. Right, okay, so we're going to go to the Egyptian desert today. Okay, so I want you to be thinking about what deserts are like. What do you think deserts are like? What type of weather, what type of climate, what animals and plants. So our aims for today, so we know what we're going to learn, are to think about the nature of a hot desert, so what it's like, okay? to think about deserts as a habitat, so that's where things live, okay? And to consider how animals adapt to the climate and conditions of the desert. Okay, so we're going to hand over.
Okay, hello, I'm Miss Brown. I'm just going to go through the first activity with you. So, today we are going on a journey to one of the hottest places on Earth. Have you got your sun cream? I hope so, because what we're going to do is I'm going to give you out some little cards, and on them there's going to be lots and lots of different things that you could possibly take to the desert with you. You need to decide which of these things that you would like to take to the desert with you, and kind of think of some reasons behind why you're picking each one in the order you are, that you are. So I'm going to give these out to you, and I think it'll be, is it about 1 between 3?
Yeah, 1 between 2 or 3.
Yeah.
If I said to you, you can't take all these items with you, you can only take the top 6. Does that make a difference? You can only take 6 of them, and now you've really got to think what's the most important.
I'm not sure still.
Not sure.
I think that's
Well, let's have a look at those ones again.
It's just
a sunscreen, strong boots, spin.
What? No.
Right, so we've got spare tyre, extra fuel, choice between these.
Or spade is good in case you want to dig a hole because it's cool underground. But you
If you're
can't
stuck,
help.
right, say, I know you got these, but if you get lost or something, you're going to need to contact someone.
Yeah, but if you just keep going, then you're not going to get lost.
Okay, so if
Right, I hope that's got you thinking a bit about what you'd do if you were on a trip to the desert and what you would take. I could hear that there was lots of discussion going on and people were having bits of debates about what was more important than the others, so that's really got you thinking about what you would take to the desert. So, we've got a quiz. This is going to be the next thing. So we're going to look at how these animals in the desert have adapted, okay? So we just need a pen and a scrap piece of paper. Okay, can I have you all quiet listening, please? Thank you very much. Right. What does a ground squirrel use as a sunshade? Its tail, its girlfriend, or a camel? So write down what you think. Second one, how does the desert tortoise cool down? Here's your options. Stays inside its shell, pees on its back legs, rubs spit on its head. What does a darkling beetle drink? Rain, fog, or cactus juice? Okay, we'll just quickly run through the answers then. So I need you all quiet and listening, okay? Right, what does a ground squirrel use as a sunshade? Yeah?
Its tail.
Its tail. It does. It uses its tail. How does the desert tortoise cool down? What were the options? Here we go. Any ideas on this table? Nope, doesn't stay inside its shell. Yeah?
you go for B.
You go for B. It does.
Oh, yes.
And the darkling beetle? Yeah.
Fog.
It does. Fog.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that right?
Okay, I hope that you've learned something about deserts and a bit about how animals adapt to the desert. So I'm sure you probably all remember about the first answer anyway. Okay, so thank you very much. It's been really a pleasure to work with you all. Okay, so if you could just clear up all those cards for me, please, and put them back in with their paper clip, please. That would be really helpful. Thank you very much. I was really pleased with it. The children seemed really engaged, and they obviously enjoyed doing the first activity because that got them to think, and then the quiz was just a bit of fun, really. And they all had a good go at everything, and I got some good answers from them, but I'm sure they'll tell me what they thought of it in a few minutes.
Now the lesson's over, it's chance for the students to give feedback and ask questions.
So how long did it take you to plan the lesson and get everything together?
Ooh, right, well, you've got to get your ideas first, so that takes quite a lot of time to get your research. So when I was planning this lesson, I went onto the internet to have a look at deserts. But I had to get a theme first, so the theme I thought of was adaptation. So altogether, I couldn't tell you because you've got to make all your resources as well, but it was probably a good two or 3 hours altogether. Okay, so quite a long time for this lesson.
20 minutes.
Not long for 20 minutes, no.
So what exactly do you plan to achieve, to get all the kids to learn in that lesson?
Right, well that's the first thing you've got to think. You've got to think, what at the end of that lesson, what do I want them to know? And then you have to work backwards. Okay, so at the end of that lesson, that's why we have things called lesson objectives. So this is like my lesson plan. So my objectives were to understand what the desert ecosystem is like.
I think it's good to have like an objective at the start of the lesson and to carry on using it like in the middle and like use keywords as well. Yeah. As well, and keep on repeating them so the kids know how, well, if you're like very young as well, like in year 7, to keep on repeating the keywords so they know how to use it, what it means, and then at the end ask them, do you know what this word means?
How well do you think you did overall in the lesson?
I think it went quite well, mainly from the sort of responses that we got from you lot. The idea was that you sort of would have fun as well while you were learning, which I hope you all did. So yeah, anything to add?
No, I think you seem like you enjoyed the lesson. I hope that is that. Stuff that was memorable.
Yeah, I like the start up. It's like if you were going into the desert, what would you take?
Why do you think I put that in as my activity? What do you think was the reason for putting this activity in to start?
Think about if we was in the desert, put ourselves in that position, what would we need?
Excellent.
It's suited for all abilities as well because it doesn't require any geography knowledge really, just a little bit of common sense, so quite well suited to your audience.
Right, it's good because it's like starting from scratch as well. It's like, so if you didn't really know anything about geography, as geography was your thing, you just had a nice kind of starting ground.
So what sort of activities did you enjoy doing, or do you enjoy doing your geography lessons? Is it the ones where you're just on your own, or do you like doing pair work?
It's more fun when we do group work because instead of just thinking to yourself, I know what's it. Well, then if you're in a group, you can say, I'm not 100% sure about this. What do you think?
Yeah, I think group work's very important because you get different ideas from different people, and they're on the same level as you are as well. So they might pick up on some things you don't.
I think in some ways pupils are very much more honest. I think adults sort of have that thing about maybe not wanting to put you off or say too much, but I think with pupils, they're maybe not as bothered. They'll just tell you exactly how it is. So I think that that if they're saying something's good, it definitely is. And if they're saying, oh, that wasn't very good, then it really wasn't. So I think that's really, really valuable feedback.
To further their understanding of the teaching process even more, the students are about to receive a challenge of their own.
Okay, this afternoon you will be required to teach a 10-minute lesson. Okay, you can do it on anything you want in geography at all, just for 10 minutes, so think about what you're going to do. There's lots of resources on campus. We've got a primary resource base that's got lots of card and paper and glue and paints and lots of things like that. And then there's obviously computers, so you need to be thinking first what you want them to learn next door. Okay, in 10 minutes, so it's not long.
I think another thing that we haven't even touched on is global warming, which...
everyone knows about it. It's all over the news.
My geography teacher said that. It's like, and now he changed my view on global warming, and I don't believe in it. He said that years ago, they discovered in the ground and things like that it was actually 16 degrees hotter. So it's like,
Do you know
the day after tomorrow, when there's actually a disaster in New York?
Yeah.
Do that with Manchester.
Boring, annoying, and I don't want to go there.
You live there.
Manchester.
Each table gets their own area of wherever. So say Antarctica. Instead of talking about the animals that live there already, we can say, well, we can give a couple away first, say, show them a few, and then give them their own, they can design their own animal.
See, the danger with that is that we're going to need to get each table to report back, which is going to take at least, 2 minutes? So you're talking about 5 minutes at least, going to be tables reporting
That's
back.
half the time.
That is half the time.
Right, I think you need to try and sort of decide a topic.
I know, we're already wasting time with them.
Just try and pick one because we've not got long now.
Yeah, I think natural disaster.
No.
Make up an animal is good. We have Antarctica.
Yeah.
Make an animal for Antarctica.
Once the students have decided to create a lesson around animals that live in the Antarctic, it's off to the computer suite to research the subject and create interesting and engaging resources. As well as being a useful exercise for the students, it allows them to visibly demonstrate to the teachers what their idea of a good lesson feels like.
Just about to go and do our lesson now, so feeling a bit nervous, but hopefully it'll all go well. Yeah.
We're going to do about Antarctica.
Antarctica today for geography, and our learning objective is to understand meaning of adaptation. So we don't know what adaptation is.
But animals and plants can adapt to their environment to live for longer and better.
First of all, what is Antarctica? Say it's a country, city, town, Sweden.
A continent.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, 3 sweets.
All of them? 3.
Second question is, does Antarctica's ice sheets hold 30%, 50%, 70 or 90% of the world's fresh water? Does anyone know? 90, no, it's not 90. Anyone else? Yeah?
Is it 30?
No. Yeah?
25.
No. Yeah, go on.
70.
Yeah, 70.
Okay, now the 3 main types of animals that can be found in the Antarctic are penguins, fur seals and algae. A penguin has adapted to live in its environment by making, these are the 3 main adaptations. First of all, its bones are packed tightly together to help them sink when they get into the water, which doesn't really seem logical, but... Now, there are also 2 colours, they are white and black, as you can see in the photograph. That's to help them camouflage when they're on land and when they're in the sea. And finally, they've got the blubber. The blubber is a layer of fat which keeps them protected when it's cold, like the camel has in its hump, but it's a penguin. Now, there's a seal. Now, the seal's... Now, the body structure of a seal is designed specifically for swimming, so it is adapted. And the point of the whiskers is that if it's when it's hungry and it's in the dark, then the whiskers can feel around for the fish, and when it feels it, then it can eat it. And then it's also got something called thermoregulation. Now, remember that word for later on. And what that means is it's specifically designed in a number of different ways to prevent heat loss, so that's things like the fur and what have you.
Now we're going to do an activity, so I hope you've got a good imagination, because what we're going to do is we're going to design your own animal so it's fit to live in Antarctica.
Okay, the animal must have at least 4 characteristics of the 2 animals and any more you can think of. So like I said, the bone structure, its ability to swim, feel, anything like that. The animal must have a name, you can make it really funny. And at the end, 2 groups will have about 20 seconds to tell us about their animal. And we've made an animal. It's a penguin. It's like a bit like a seal, and it has really long ears so it can keep warm, and it has lots of fur. It has a little pouch that can keep fish in, and claws so it can dig itself a hole at night.
Okay. Right, if you want to go, you can start now. You've got 4 minutes to do this, and there's a finishing off activity as well.
Blubber, thermoregulation, whiskers, bone structure.
So basically a polar bear.
Yeah. Flippers.
Polar bear with flippers.
Yeah.
No, which bear we're going to use?
Polar bear with flippers, structured bone pack,
And wings.
and thermoregulation. Whiskers.
Looks like a seal, an angry seal. Should we call it a saber-tooth seal? A fin? Yeah, have one massive big fin. Yeah.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hands down. We're going to compare with the class. How about maybe have a vote? Yep. The best one is going to get the rest.
It's called the saber-toothed sea tiger. It's got whiskers for feeling them off a fish in the dark. It's got big sharp teeth so it can skewer said fish. It's got large fins. This is a big fin in the middle. I don't think that's anything else. And it's got a layer of fat, a layer of blubber to keep it warm in the cold conditions.
It's called Whiskers. Now we decided to call him that name because, well, he's got whiskers and looks like a cat. He's got the fat to keep him warm during the cold summer nights. He's white. It's going to be cold in the Antarctic, isn't it? He's completely white because, well, then he won't get eaten by the penguins. He's furry, so he can keep himself warm. Big feet for support, because he might topple over. A pouch to store fish. Fins to swim, and whiskers to feel his food when he's swimming. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, right. We will let Mrs. Hill and Mrs. Vincent decide the winners. And we have got a final activity as well, which is just a 1-minute thing. Yeah. Right, first of all, I want everybody now to get into a pair with the person next to you, and I want you to call yourself person A and person B.
Person A.
This is a quick activity to find out how much you learn. So person A, you are going to be given a little pack of card type thing with something written on. Do not let the other person see what is written on your cards. And what you have to do is you have to describe what is written on every single piece of paper on your card without actually saying the word. So say if I picked up a card and it said Robbie Williams on it, I'd have to describe Robbie Williams to the other person, but I couldn't say Robbie Williams. I couldn't even say Bobby Trillions. Okay, now the first pair to get through all the pack without cheating stands up. And there's a prize for the first pair to stand up, and there's a forfeit for the last pair to stand up. Okay. Go.
Which wins? It's got to be penguin.
Keyword.
It's like fluff and a polar bear, has it? Fur. What animals? Furry animals. Furry animals are coming in. No, sorry, no, I can't actually.
Right. In first place, we had Miss Hussain and Miss Lunt. And you win. Now, the joint last place goes to these four over here, 2 pairs. Joint last place. And their forfeit is that they each win a copy of the Beach Boys' greatest hits. And then finally we have got the winners of the activity, who Mrs. Hill is about to declare.
We have come to a verdict, and Mrs. Hill will do the final announcement.
Our winners are table over here, as presented by Sam, because of the number of reasons, all the various criteria met for their creature to adapt to life in the Antarctic, and because of their absolute clarity and sincerity.
The whole point of this activity here was for you to think on the spot how much you know about a subject in a really short amount of time without actually saying it. And yeah, so that was why we did that, and hopefully the trainees can use that maybe in their teaching careers. Okay, thank you. I thought it was delivered very well. I mean, we didn't have a chance to rehearse it because of time constraints, but I think that we improvised well and got the message across, did all the tasks we wanted to do, managed to evaluate them. I think we managed to squeeze everything in, and I think it was delivered very well.
So, what did you think about the stage? Did you enjoy it? Did you get any ideas about it?
I think it was brilliant. I think you all did really, really well. Especially like the game at the end. I'm definitely going to try that when it comes to teaching.
You did fantastically. You were very clear, because it's really important when you're a teacher that you speak very clearly, and you did that really well. And you told people exactly what they were going to do as well.
What areas do you think we needed to improve on in the teaching that we did?
Possibly, it's only sort of a minor thing. Maybe you talked a little bit too much at the start, because you did only have like 10 minutes. Yeah. And I do myself all the time, to be honest, but you have to sort of really keep to time, so keep it a bit shorter, I'd say, the talking part.
Yeah, okay. We weren't planning on it taking that long, I don't think. It was only supposed to be like a few minutes. Yeah, I think we did quite well for the interactive part.
Yeah.
When you think about it, if you've got 10 minutes, you still have to explain to them that, you know, what all this lesson is about, yet you still get so many activities in.
So did you find it difficult overall?
We were a bit worried at the start. We had like about 5 different ideas, I think. Some people weren't happy, but we thought, well, we have to think about what they would enjoy, because it's a mixed ability, because we're all from each different year group from year 7 to 11. So we had to think about something that would benefit them all. And this just seemed like a really good option because it's creative, and we can all do creative stuff. It's better than looking at a piece of text, for example, and it gets your brain flowing and it gets ideas running, which is really good.
Yeah, I think maybe the 2 key things that you said there, you said it was interactive and you said it was creative, and I'd say those are probably the 2 most important things really you need to think about when planning lessons. Yeah. So yeah, really, really well done for that.
So has anybody's view of teaching changed today?
No.
From what you came in with this morning?
I think it's pretty much what I expected it to be, yeah. I always imagined it would be like that.
so you knew it's quite tough at times.
Absolutely tough, yeah.
Right.
They're very stressful as well because you gotta, I mean, like if you're planning for a whole school day, I bet you got up in early hours of the morning planning lessons.
It has been there.
Yeah. It shows how stressful it is.
I just didn't realise how much effort, when you do it yourself and you're actually planning the lesson, you're like, wow, you've got to plan it and then you've got to mark it and then you've most got loads of different things that you need to fill in for your head of year and whatever marking schemes you have. So it's really hard.
I've really enjoyed it and it's really been an inspiring day, and the interaction between pupils that didn't know each other and just got thrown into a group today, and they were just so supportive of each other. And I was just so impressed by how articulate a lot of the pupils were and how well they came across. And I remember one group especially, I just thought, yeah, they could teach already, they don't need any training.
I think that these schemes are very important in giving students a voice. It also gives teachers, new teachers that are just entering, you know, the business, as it were, an insight into what students think and how they would like to be taught, and they can hopefully reflect on this when they get into the classrooms themselves.
If you get the pupils, you know, views on it, you're gonna know they're enjoying it, you know, and they're actually benefiting from what you're teaching them, and they're actually learning something.
Today's given me a better insight of what teachers do, because at first I thought, you know, they were just given the sheets of paper and they were told what to say, whereas I didn't know that they had to go and research all their information.
I'm going to concentrate more because I know how much work the teachers put into it to make sure that we get what we need to get.
Normally you think teachers are just a robot, and you know, they just come in, do their work, go home, and you really get to look at them and think, well, they really do actually love this job. And sometimes you wonder why they even teach, and it just helps you realise, because if you love children so much, you like to teach that subject, and you love that subject, you really have a passion for it, then you just really want to teach and help make the next generation of kids, really.